Push him up. Push him up. Go back. Sit. Gravity. Good morning everyone, what's going on today? I've been away shearing this morning but come back this afternoon and Dad's away sewing, a bit of contracting at the moment. So got all our second cross lambs, or most of our second cross lambs here at home. Brought them home and I'm going to draft a couple hundred off and we're going to put them on the Pallaton. Hopefully this afternoon. Now we don't have a lot of daylight left anymore. No, my plan is I'll draft sort of a couple hundred of the best off. I think there's about 1100 lambs here. So here, come out. I'll draft probably 200 or so off and then I'll run them through the handler up there and I'll weigh them, I'll drench them, I'll multi-min them. But that's what we're doing this afternoon. So yeah, these are all the second cross lambs we've been shearing, and then there's a few sort of longer wool first cross weather lambs that we shore, I think it was end of January maybe, or might have been a little bit earlier. So they're just a little, that's why they look a bit different, because they got a bit more skin on them, those ones. Rightio, we'll start drafting. I just got the counter with me. I mean, I used to, most of the time I just count them, you know, in my head, but when you got a big mob and by yourself, and believe me, you will lose count. So it's easier just to, all it is just a counter, and it is exactly what it sounds like. You just keep pressing the button and just keeps a tally. When you're trying to yell at dogs, tell them to go back and sit, and then trying to draft lambs as well. It's just so much easier if you just use one of these.
Keep whipping your hair like that, you got it. Yeah, you're feeling it too. Let's get it started. I'm ready, ready. Let's get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started.
Few drafted off there, 188. So pretty much what I was looking for while they were coming up the race was just a lamb that's sort of pretty growthy and sort of some of the bigger ones that they're still a little while off finishing, but you know, when they're going on crop, you want them going ahead, and there's a few lambs there that are sort of stuck in a bit of a lapse at the minute. On the whole, they're not looking too bad, but yeah, there's just, you know, that's all I was doing, just picking the tops out of them, and some of the bigger lambs, like you can see there, like there's some already pretty good lambs in here. Just quickly, I had a question on one of my last year's videos about, you know, forward contracting and why they want it between why they want the lambs between a certain weight range. I think this year it's sort of 48 to 58 or something like that, about 10 kilos, and that's just purely because, you know, it's a major supermarket, so if you go into the supermarket and you want some lamb chops this week, and then, you know, in a couple of weeks you go back in and you want some more lamb chops. You want consistency, don't you? So that's the reason that they want them in a certain range, just purely to keep consistency in their product when they're trying to sell it. So I'm pretty sure that's the only reason, really. But yeah, I just thought I'd answer that on the whole. I did reply to that comment, but obviously only one person seeing it there, so I just thought I would touch on that. But no, if you do have a question or ideas or something, do put it in the comments, because I've been pretty slack. I'm starting to write a list on my phone of things that people are asking, because I just flat out forget. So I do apologise if you've asked to see something in the past and I've just forgot about it, but I've got a list on my phone now, so if you do ask a question, I will write it down and I'll get to it. So we'll run them through the sheep handler now and drench them and give them a needle, which shouldn't take too long, and then they can go down on the crop. Hey Ellie, what have you been doing? Did you go for a swim? And also they've got muzzles on them, the dogs, just so they don't bite the sheep, so they're not too hard on them. Got nothing to do with biting me or anything, it's just the sheep, because if they bite the they bite sort of in the meat of the sheep or anything, it can get infected, and then obviously the supermarket's not going to want that, and we can't really sell them like that. So that's the reason they've got muzzles on. Some of them, not all of them bite, but you're a bit vicious, aren't you? Hey? I'll record these weights. I'll just start a new session and I'll go Pallaton LAMBS. No, don't worry about notes. Start session. New session started. So now I'll weigh all these lambs, and then you know, in 3 or 4 weeks I'll bring them back in and record them again and see what they're sort of doing, and it'll give me an average daily gain. Yeah, hang on, it'll give me an average daily gain, so you know, probably grams per day, and then a live weight gain, so how many kilos they've put on since they were last weighed, which is pretty cool. So that's what I'm doing with. Right, sorry, the phone sidetracked me. I can't remember what I was saying now, but we'll get into these. Just giving them a Q drench and, yeah, as I said, a mould him in. So there you go, young guy. Good one to start off with.
Off the meter, turn it up, blow the speakers, make them all to believers. Break through the surface, tell them open the curtains, give them all what they wanted. Yeah, now let's get it started.
Sit steady.
They're weighing pretty well though. They seem to be sort of averaging, oh, I'd sort of say probably 45 kilos. Well, hang on, we can see here. 43 kilos they're averaging, so that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. At the start there, it was, I think it was minus 3 kilos, so you can probably say the minimum was 36, I think, because yeah, one came through and I thought he looks bigger than 33. So, and then I looked at the scales and they were weighing sort of a little bit light. So that's all that is. So yeah, probably say 43.5 kilos is the average, which pretty happy with.
D-Max, come right up here. D-Max, come up here. Push him up, push him up. Hey. Hey. D-Max.
We don't break the scales, old son. Hey, you're a bit of a porker. You've been crawling through fences, I'd say, by the way you flew up here. I'd say you've been in many paddocks that you are not meant to have been in, I'd say. So.
Max, hey Maggie, push him up. Hey.
Hero. There we go. So 190, oh, there was 188, but just there was a couple that weighed twice, just as I was sort of trying to drench them. But average 43.5 kilos. I don't know if you can. Average 43.5. Maximum was 61. Minimum was 36. That's pretty cool. And then the next time, see how this crop's performing. It should. We've had pretty good luck with it before. There's, what's there, 6 hectares down there, so we're putting about 188 lambs on there. So whatever that works out to be, 30 lambs to the hectare, is it? We've had 40 lambs on there to the hectare before. Where the lucerne, before we put the lucerne where it is, we had some of this stuff in there when it was just first commercially released, and we had 400 lambs on 10 hectares, and it was still growing. We had to actually mulch it because it was getting too tall. So there was some pretty incredible sort of growth rates out of that crop, plant growth rates I'm talking now. It just shows it's got the moisture and it's got nutrition and it's fed well. It'll here, Ellie, come out. It'll do some pretty incredible stuff. So, but I'm going to take the big mob back to their paddock now. I'll have to leave these sort of in the little holding paddock here for the night, because I don't think I'll get them down there before it gets pitch black, and it's pretty hard to move. Well, there's just no point trying to move them tonight. I'll do it in the morning because I want to keep an eye on them tomorrow. Just new paddock, fresh lambs, shorn lambs. You just, yeah, want to be able to keep an eye on them for that first day. Make sure there's no escapees and stuff. Put them down there now and get a phone call middle of the night that there's sheep on the road. Yeah, it wouldn't be real fun. So I'll check the fence in the morning and make sure that's all good. Come out of it, Ellie. Sit. 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 Good girl. I'll check the fence in the morning and that'll be good. Back. For your lambs. Alright, you guys can't see anything. I've just moved that big mob back to their paddock. I'll just let those other ones out and put them in a little holding paddock for tonight, and then we'll resume in the morning, because you guys can't see anything and I can't see anything. So alright, see you in the morning. What are you doing? Alrighty, just come out here this morning. Here's the Pallaton. It's looking pretty alright, isn't it? Great colour. And you can see. So one of the benefits that they talked about in their sort of open day type thing, I suppose you'd call it, a couple of years ago when we were first looking at it, was its sort of regrowth ability. You can see what it's doing underneath here. So all the sheep will eat this. There's these big leaves on top, and then it just seems to keep growing up and up and up from underneath. All these little tillers, I suppose you'd call them, coming out of the roots there, and that's where its ability to have a really high stocking rate comes from, I think. No, very keen to see how it performs. I know I keep saying that, but it is pretty exciting. So I've just come out. This is the fence, another new fence that we split this paddock off a couple of videos ago. There's the ryegrass over there. It's looking pretty good too, to be honest. A little bit missing in the middle there where the ducks are sort of giving it a bit of a hammering, but apart from that, it's looking good too. The variety was night ryegrass, I think, so for anyone that was interested. But I'll just come out here. I'm just going to swing this gate off this post here this morning. Before I put the lambs in here, I got the generator and the welder down here, so we'll get into that. I did have to straighten this strainer post up as best I could with the ute. I could have brought the tractor down here, but there's another hour gone, so it's straight enough. But yeah, the previous owner must have had the stay up here somewhere, and it's just sort of pulled the post out and sort of ripped the top out of it. So I just had to redo it as best as I could. It's not perfect, but hopefully it'll stop lambs going through there. And you may think that they're not going to want to go anywhere when there's feed like this on here, but you'd be surprised at what shorn second cross lambs will do.
Still stuck in this house with a mind full of doubts. Tired of staring out the window, eating too much, drinking too much. Tired tired of watching the grass grow. Channel 2, Channel 3, back to Channel 2. I watched everything in my queue. So put me on a train, I don't care where it's going. Fly me on a plane, maybe out to Wyoming. Need an RV, no plans, just you and me. I need to go somewhere. Still watching the rain, kids driving me insane. Another Groundhog Day routine. Stuck in my head, existential dread. What in the world does it mean? Month 2, month 4, can't take it anymore.
Doesn't look too bad, does it, for a farmer? Swings at least, anyway. That's the main hint.
No plans, just you and me. I need to go somewhere. I need to go somewhere.
Looks good.
They can be a little bit wary with stuff like this canola, Pallaton and stuff to begin with. I don't know, just because it's so different. It does have a pretty, I wouldn't say it's a good smell either. It's sort of it's a very rich smell. So it just sometimes takes them a little while to get onto it, but they were into that canola and I was bringing them through that straight away. So, but I will bring down sort of a bit of sort of strawy hay. Just as a bit of roughage if they want it. They know what a hay feeder is and what the hay is. Brings it back to what I was saying in the previous videos about getting them started on hay and grain. It just, because if we hadn't have done that and we just put a hay feeder in here, you know, they're probably not going to touch it purely because they just don't know what it is. But being locked in the little paddock for a couple of days and being made to sort of go looking for food, they know exactly sort of what that is, and they'll go up and have a smell, and if they like it and if they want it, they'll eat it, and if they don't want it, well, they don't have to. But
they might not touch it for a week or so, but I'll at least put it down here for them, and then it's here for them if they do want it. Another thing I got to do is turn this trough on. Now,
ideally, it's a cattle trough. It's not really a sheep trough. It's a little bit tall for sheep. They can still get at it because it's in every paddock on this block.
It's just not as easy as I'd like it to be for them. The other option is there's a laneway, obviously, that goes up to the cattle yards there, and there is a sort of smaller trough in there. The other option is I can sort of open that lane up and let them go in there for a drink, but I'll let this fill up and I'll make sure it comes sort of as close to the top as I can get it so that they don't have to reach in far. Yeah, just what we've got at the moment.
In the future we might put a few smaller troughs in here, but this is here and this is what we've got to use, so
I'm gonna use it.
You can see the damage that ducks have done near this dam too, and pretty well, especially on the drones as well. But unfortunately there's just not a lot we can do. Dad's been coming down here and you know, scaring them off with the gun. Once he did that a couple of times, you'd turn in the gate and they'd sort of know what was going on and they'd just fly away. So, and then probably come and land straight back on it 5 minutes after you leave. But they're not the ducks that are doing it in there. I think they're wood ducks that are eating the crop. So yeah, I'm afraid there's not much we can do about it. But I might leave that one there. I'm just gonna wait and see and make sure this fills up all the way and see where it stops, and then I'll adjust it. But no, they look pretty happy. They're sort of wandering as they do around the edge of the paddock and just checking it out and seeing their boundaries. So I'll go around the fence line once more and make sure there's no big holes. But no, job should be good. We'll keep an eye on them for the next week or so, just because it's such a sudden change in diet. Make sure there's nothing, no health risks or anything going on with them. But yeah, and then we'll check back in 3 weeks or so and probably weigh them and see what they're doing in terms of growth rates, which will be interesting to see. And yeah, job will be good. So anyway guys, hope you enjoyed that one, and with that one we'll catch you in the next one. Alrighty, see ya, bye.
It's just you and me, I need to go somewhere. So put me on a train, I don't care where it's going.